Yo, what is up guys, I'm here hitting you up with a new CZN video today with the 9 guide. I took my time today, I had MaTeIRiA to cover. Now later this day I had time for CZN. So I took my sweet time today, learned 9, figured out the best things you can know about her. I think she has 2 different playstyles overall. One I didn't explore that much, but you already saw the thumbnail, so you know what it's all about for today. It's big dick damage. That's why let's talk about her and how you want to build her ideally. Okay, now let's jump right into her cards. So I had a little bit time to think about what you want to do with her and what makes sense for this character. Now let's just hop in and look at Hugh. Now when it comes to Hugh, which is her DPS card and the most important thing about her entire build, the best 2 options are 2 and 3, Extreme and Flash. Those are the ones you should opt for unless you want to do, for example, to be honest, all routes are solid overall. Now if you want to have an ignition effect and make this a 0 cost card, you can do that, and I will explain in a moment with a specific teammate. Then if you want to have for some weirdest reason you want shield, then you go with 1. And if you want to have AoE, then you go with 4. But I think 2 and 3 are the best options unless you want to go with a counter attack build, which I still have to explore. But for that one, I do want to build up Magna first before I start doing a counter attack build, because that requires a little bit more like specific units to make that work. And then number 5, the Ambush. Ambush, as I said, for a specific counter attack, but this is not for DPS. And for DPS, we have 3 and 4 as the option. I personally like Extreme more because you opt out the most damage for it. Then we have Experienced Strike. Now when it comes to Experienced Strike, this one also has, in my opinion, just 2 options, and that is 4 and 5. I don't really like 1, 2, and 3. Those are not good. 4 and 5 are good. 4 is very good for damaging options. I'll show you in a bit. And number 5 is just, as I said, for if you go for a counter attack route. Now next card we have is the Fatal Strike. I think Fatal Strike is very simple, in my opinion. Number 3 is the best one. The 5 mana Fatal Strike, unique ignition, change Hue in hand to its final level. Just turns your level 1 card to an immediate level 5 card or level 2. Or if you activated the level 5 card and then turns back to a level 1 card, you can now easily just get it up to a level 5 card again. Now this is very, very strong. Well, you really cannot go wrong with that one. In my opinion, the best one. The other ones are a little bit too niche in my opinion. The other one that would be a replacement for this one would also be number 5, which increase damage amount by 80% for each ally owning counter attack. So you can get by 106% damage increase. So this could potentially hit also very hard, but it is up for a specific counter attack team. Now when it comes to Counterblade, in my opinion, you cannot really go wrong with either of these options. I think for the moment the best ones right now are 1 and 5. Those ones you can use because exhausting is super easy, and then you get Honed Edge, and what Honed Edge is very simple: increase damage, defense-based damage amount of attack cards by 20%. Then there's Honed Edge Plus, and I think does it even no amount of attack cards by 20% for 1 turn, max 3 stacks. And then Honed Edge Plus is increase defense-based damage amount of attack cards allies by 20% per and max 3 stacks, which is exactly the same unless I'm stupid. Why does I think that there's probably something wrong with it. I think maybe it's just supposedly say without the plus, just ignore the plus icon. I would assume so, or they just mistranslate it again as they always do, but that's for that, to be honest. But yeah, 1 and 5 are the easiest ones. Now 3 is nice because of the initiation, because you can start off with a 0 cost when your shield is gained through an ability, 1 Honed Edge, and you get actually every single turn get a shield just because you have a partner card. But when a card is exhausted, 1 Honed Edge, so you can actually stack. But the thing with the exhaust one is you can get easily more stacks, so you can easily get 3 stacks to get 60% damage multiplication. Okay, and then last but not least we have the Fighting Spirit card. Now the Fighting Spirit card is a very important card for her because this one will activate the highest cost attack card of this unit in her hand, then exhaust those cards. So this is just a combination you want to do with Fighting Spirit Hugh. You will see in a moment. Now when it comes to her partner, I'm not gonna lie, if you go for 9, then go get her partner card as well, because I don't think it's even a question anymore. I think they learned their lessons because they're trying to maximize their revenue, and yeah, well, these partner cards are getting out of hand. Like they really make them so that they are significant significantly stronger than any 4 or 3-star option. Now this one here, for example, the Acelia, that gives you an extra 8% defense, and when an exhaust card of the assigned component is exhausted, is activated, increase defense based damage of the next tag card used by 20%. So you basically get an extra damage boost, 20% multiplier, and when a 2 cost or higher card of the assigned component is exhausted, gain 100% fixed shield. And this is what aligns with, for example, which it has just mentioned with the counterblade here, for example, when shield is gained through an ability 1 bone edge. Now you get it with her, that 100% fixed shield, super hard. And then you have her ego skill, cost 3, 5 caustic remarks, and then this effect also increased damage amount taken by 20%. If shield was owned, increased by an additional 10%. On effect activation, decrease caustic remarks by 1. Now what would be an alternative if you do not have Alcea? Your alternative to Alcea would be either Erica if you have this specific one for whatever reason, because this provides you extra counterattack damage if you go with a counterattack build. Also you get extra chances of getting counterattack stacks, plus it increases your defense. And then on the other side, I don't think Rydell is that good anymore because they now buffed that up, so it's also a health. Now here you have the defense one, so you want to go with the Wilhelma because she increases your defense, and then in case there's vulnerability, you get a little bit extra damage. This one is not that good because it's just for the shield gain and really doesn't do anything for you. But so yeah, Wilhelmina would be the second replacement. Now when it comes to her potential, you really want to unlock everything what she provides here. Now when it comes to her basic one, you get plus 4% damage to slash card, which doesn't really matter too much. You also don't really need that card in particular, to be honest, but you can keep one in the deck because it is another 15% multiplier, which is not too bad overall. And here for the last one, the more defense you have, the more damage you're getting for her order damage. And then when it comes to her memory fragments, that's really, they have that new set now, which I already got a couple of pieces, to be honest, but I don't really like it. Plus 4% damage amount to justice and order 5 times per turn, so that can only be activated. You probably don't need more than 5 times, to be honest, but plus 30% damage is too weak in my opinion. It really doesn't cut it. At least I think I might try it in the future, but I don't see the power scaling of it. So personally, my recommendation is going with a 222 set. You want to have the Blackwing set, you want to have the crit damage set, and you want to have defense on her. Now there's a little bit different since she is a defense scaling unit. Usually I like to recommend like crit attack, but obviously actually the elemental damage is better even for attack slightly and stuff like that. But especially now since it is a defense based unit, and if we're looking at the stats right here again, 363 defense, 552 attack, almost 6% crit rate, 159% crit damage. That's the stats right now. We want to have elemental damage on slot 5. You don't want to have defense percentage. You want 100% of the time you want that elemental damage on that, because the defensive stats are so low on these units, the defense percentage doesn't do much. This one, on the other hand, the elemental damage on top does a lot. That does a lot more for your character, so make sure she's on crit rate, order, and defense, and this is what you want to go. Now let's talk a little bit about the ego manifestation. I looked at them, really, it's like, to be honest, I feel like kind of whatever. I got it to E1. Now, what is the difference when you have an E1? The difference is when you have the fighting spirit. Now, usually you activate this card, then it activates the hue, and if there is more than one enemy, she will hit a random target. Now, if you have her E1, now with fighting spirit activating hue, you can now choose which target is getting hit. Basically, that's really it. If you use her in a boss fight where it's only the boss and nothing else, then the E1 like is absolutely doesn't matter at all. Now the E2 is at the start of battle, create one exploit card, and that's at the start of battle, and you can activate this card 2 times. It has retain and it has vulnerable, so you can actually, which is kind of interesting, but you also don't really need it. The only interesting part about it is, to be honest, the vulnerable feature, because this one, if you time everything and your buffs correctly, which I did not even use in my screenshot, so my damage can be even higher, by the way. The damage I've done can be even higher if I have like a vulnerable stack on top of that and one more buff, by the way. I think I can hit 30k with her, to be honest. I'm not even kidding, 30k is possible. But yeah, if you set up everything and you're like, okay, now is my big hit coming, then you use that exploit opening, get the vulnerable off, then do her damage, and you're good to go. Do you need it? Not really. I think it's even counterproductive because you don't even have that much hand space. So I think it's not that easy to actually make use of this card in particular. But yeah, that's for that. Now when it comes to her save data, here, this is my current build for her, which I got. I got a little bit lucky with the Ebony Lumen, so there are these new Lumen cards. I do have to explore them a little bit more, so I don't think I have seen them all, but there were 2 cards in particular, Lumen cards, that I like. Let me know in the comments down below if I should make a separate video about the Lumens and what I think are the best ones and where you want to use them. Let me know, just in case. But yeah, the Ebony Lumen card is very strong in particular, and I went a very interesting route with my deck building this time. So the first card I have is the Hue Extreme version, because this one does the absolute most damage. On level 5 it has 1200% defense multiplier, and then we have the Experience Strike plus 60% damage amount for each exhaust card in hand. Then we have the Fatal Strike, change Hue in hand to its final form. Then Ignition, very important. If this card is in hand, when a card is exhausted, decrease cost of this unit. This is very important. Then we have the Counterblade at the start of the turn, activate Hue in hand 1 time. Then we have the Fighting Spirit, which I duplicated once because this is actually one of her better cards. I think in case you're wondering what you want to duplicate in her deck and card wise, Fighting Spirit is the only one that is worth it. Not even kidding. Fighting Spirit is the only one worth it. And I don't even know if you want to go overboard on Fighting Spirit and if you want to get 3 copies of it or even 4. I feel like it's a little bit of an overkill, to be honest. Like theoretically you could do that, so just every single turn you somehow have a Fighting Spirit in hand you can spam out. So that's why I like this one, because at the start of turn it always activates the Hue effect, which is cool because you ramp it up faster, so this one helps. And then the Ebony Lumen, I have it because depending on what kind of draft you have with your characters, she also has some sort of card draw mechanic, right? And the cool thing is, and I got a little bit lucky I think as well, is the Epiphany that I got for that card. So it's a 3 mana card, and basically you draw 3 cards and then you get a 2 mana, and then you draw 2, and then 1 mana you draw 1. Can do all the shenanigans, right? So there's a little bit of things you can do with this character, which is cool in my opinion. But the cool part is I got the one with an effect has gain 2 AP. Now I activate it at the start of my turn, use all my mana, 3 mana, draw 3 cards, but I get 2 mana back. So basically I paid 1 mana to draw 3, which is cool. That's why I have this card 2 times in my deck, just for card cycling if I need it, right? So at the start of the turn I see, okay, I don't like my hat, activate it, draw something, see what I have, and go from there, basically, right? Exactly. Now this is for the build. Now we have also another change with the new effects in Chaos system, which I will do a separate video about this one, but so you know what I have equipped on here. When there are 6 or more cards in hand, increase damage by 25%, so there's a 25% damage multiplier with the sort of reflected lake. Then I have the Shining Lyre, which the first effect doesn't really matter, but the other two, the other effect matters. Increase damage amount of exhaust cards by 25%, on ravage 150% fixed damage to the target, but the extra another 25% multiplier. And then Call of the Ancient Spirit, on critted heal 10%, and then I have the effect when a turn is ended with 1 or more AP remaining, 1 vulnerable to all enemies, which is cool because I end my turn, there's a vulnerable stack, and then I start off every time my new turn with a Hue hitting the target, doing a lot of damage. Okay, so this is basically the idea behind it. Now I want to show you what do I usually do. Oh yeah, team setups. Let me talk about team setup, team combinations, what you can do with this character in my opinion. I give you 2 teams. Ignore the Alea. I was trying something, it didn't work, so ignore this one. Now when it comes to her ideal team combinations, or there are more team combinations overall, but I'm just giving you a couple here. So one option is you either go together with 9 Nasha, 100% always Nasha. You always want to have Nasha as a combination. And then I have Ray now. Why Ray? Because of her E6 gives another damage amplification effect, plus card cycling, plus moral buff, stuff like that, right? So this is a team setup you can use for her. So you have the Ray, the Nasha, and her. This works fine. Now another version, and that is probably this is the strongest version, by the way, not for 9 in particular in terms of damage output, but in terms of general I would say synergy and combo. This one is by far the strongest bullshit I've seen. Okay, this one, Serenial, Nasha, 9 is a perfect team. Now with Serenial, the problem was, and you, as you all know and love to use her, you know what, let me jump in, do a showcase. I will put the footage of where I did the huge damage after this one, so you know, but I do want to show you how this looks like when you use Serenial with 9 together. The cool thing about these 2 characters is, as we know, Serenial needs a lot of space, right? Serenial needs a lot of space to work, to do her thing and stuff like that, and you don't really have that much hand space anymore for other cards. Now here we have a lot of exhaust cards, right? That's the one thing, and that's why I said, for example, this card here is very good. The Experience Strike, Epiphany 4 plus 60% damage amount for each exhaust card in hand. Now because we play Serenity, we have now 5 cards that gives us another 500%. Now you have 700% defense base damage. Boom, get get a big hit, and we have 570 shield, okay? This is what you're seeing here. Big shield. Now that we have done that, we want to get that card out of the way. Now we can do all our Serenial shenanigans, right? We just do all our Serenial shenanigans, right? Now, obviously, this guy will not survive because the Serenial shenanigans are already too much to deal with. But we just do everything, right? We just do everything. We don't care. It's fine. We're good to go. We will just wait. Boom, destroyed the egg. And now there we go. Boom, we are in the next phase. So let's see what we have here. We do the Veracity, get the Veracity stacks now. Now we get a little bit of Nasha support overall. And now we have a couple of options here. Okay, we have Fighting Spirit 2 times. We have Lumen to draw more if we need it. And we have a couple of buffs. Now, what I want to do here is I actually want to use now the Caustic Remarks because I want to debuff the boss. Boom, boom. And now there's 5 stacks of it. And increase damage amount taken by 20%. Now, this is basically the same as Vulnerable debuff. And every time you hit the boss, you lose 1 stack. So you don't want to do actually your thing with your Serenial right now. Now we want to do our thing with our, what's her face again, 9. We want to activate the Fighting Spirit. Boom, target this boss. I mean, if you have an E0, you still would hit it. 6k damage. Now we can, and this card comes back just 1 level up. Now you have another Fighting Spirit. This is what I mean. And then you can follow up with a second and boom, another big hit. We didn't crit, 4k damage, but it is fine. Now we can even opt for drawing a card if I want to right now. And yeah, you know what? Let me activate it because I do like having more Veracity stacks. It's always good. Now I can activate my Homing Laser cards if I want to, right? Just getting even more out. And this is where I end my turn. And this guy is about to die like super fast here right now. I could activate Mealtime, get more predation. There's a lot of options I can do right now. What I would like to do in this type of situation is I hope this guy doesn't survive. Like if I do this guy's already dead, right? So this is like a little bit of a bummer, but that would be cool because for 2 turns plus 100% defense-based damage taken by the target. And keep in mind, this defense-based damage is a debuff. This is not a buff, this is a debuff. And Nasha also has a buff. So you have the one of her cards, which was, I think, the, if I find it right now, the Bottomless Hunger has a buff plus 100% defense-based damage. You can add that. I don't even have that one. So you have the Domain plus the Hunger to debuff the boss and buff yourself up to hit even harder with this unit. So I'm gonna use this one now because it's just going to kill. We didn't get a crit, but you see the damage, non-crit. And the beauty about this character release, and I think it's overkill too, to be honest, is that she very well synergizes great together with Serenial. And like they said with Nasha, obviously, but with Serenial, really solid synergy, because the problem with Serenial always was, what is the third character, right? How do you want to fit a third character that needs a lot of cards? Now, with 9, you don't really need a lot of cards. You just need 2 cards. Like you have your Hue in your hand, and then you have like Fighting Spirit to activate, right? And if you have the upgrade card that casts Hue at the start of the turn every time, then you can passively, turn starts, boom, you're dealing damage, and then you can do your thing with Serenial. And yeah, this sums up everything for the 9 guide today, guys. Let me know what you think about her. Did you pull for her? Do you plan to skip her? Are you waiting for the seasonal character? Are you waiting for the black hair cat lady? Stuff like that, all the good things. And obviously you will see the footage after this one. And as always, guys, if you enjoyed watching this video, don't forget to leave a like and a comment down below. I really appreciate it, and see you at the next one. Deuces.